Hi and welcome. In this video we're going to remove even more bedrock. If you've been here before, you already seen me battle that. Last time I started with some rock splitting wedges and ended up using dynamite. This time around I went with an hydraulic breaker on the excavator. It's a lot easier on my arms and back. Sure, the excavator takes a beating. Even though excavator parts are expensive, they're still a lot cheaper than a spine transplant. Besides excavator parts, I can replace myself. The reason for this little geological remodeling project is simple. Although calling it a little project might be a bit optimistic. I bet some of you are thinking I'm overdoing it. It's just a garden. And you're probably right. But the thing is, I grew up here and I don't think you realize how terrible this lawn used to be. Actually, calling it a lawn would be generous. It was more like a farm in the Swiss Alps. I still remember dragging my old 50-kilo gasoline mower up and down these steep slopes. If I slipped while pushing it uphill, the mower would roll back and run me over. Or if I lost the grip going downhill, it would roll all the way down to the bottom and leave a lawnmower-shaped hole in the stone wall. I also used to play football here as a kid. That came with its own set of challenges, for obvious reasons. So after years of built-up frustration and finally fulfilling my childhood dream of owning an excavator, it's actually a lot of fun to do this project. Sure, I get tired and sometimes I get bored, but honestly I believe I will enjoy the garden a whole lot more knowing how much work went into creating it. I had no idea what the bedrock would look like beneath the soil before I started, but I had a feeling it would need a little persuasion before it would give way. At first I thought I'd just rent a compressor and jackhammer and give it another round of expanding motor. As it turns out, I have friends who also own a 5-ton excavator for their garden projects. We decided to buy a hydraulic breaker together and split the cost. Hydraulic breakers aren't cheap, so that worked out pretty well. It goes without saying that the little hill with the playhouse on isn't going anywhere, unless I decide to demolish it. But I have 2 little girls who are looking forward to playing in it. 3 if you count my wife. So that's not an option. Besides, it has sentimental value to me as well. My father built it for me when I was a kid. So yeah, it's staying. Whenever I've broken loose a good amount of rock, I find it best to switch to the bucket and clear the area before continuing with the breaker. Most of the bedrock was fairly soft and easy to break. There were a few sections with really hard rock that took forever, but overall it wasn't too bad. Since the bedrock was relatively easy to break, I decided to remove the bedrock along the vertical rock face at the top of the garden. I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted the final landscape to look, but removing it now gives me a lot more flexibility later on. Not to spoil the ending, but by the end of this video you'll see that I actually raised the area again to create a small plateau. The difference is that this time around I used soil instead of rock. That means I can always change it later if I want to. Although I seriously doubt that that will ever happen. Unless this video gets 1 million likes. Then I'll lower it again. Just kidding. Or am I? As you can imagine, breaking up all this bedrock leaves me with quite a lot of rock to get rid of. So to make that job a little easier, I reinforced an old trailer so it could handle being loaded and unloaded with the excavator. I actually made a YouTube short about it, the rebuild. And by reinforced, I basically mean I lined the inside with some 2x8s, nothing fancy. I also attached a trailer hitch to the blade of the excavator. And with that, getting all this rock out of the garden became fairly easy. Well, easy might be a strong word. As you can see, it's a bit of a squeeze getting through here. So using the tractor with the proper tipping trailer isn't really an option. There's simply no room for it, which leaves me with the excavator and my glorified wheelbarrow. After about 1 gazillion trips, I could almost start spreading the soil. I just had to finish the groundwork around where the dog run is going to be. I could finally see the finish line. But while I still had the excavator back here, I wanted to get as much of the heavy lifting done as possible. I had to move some materials into place for later. There will eventually be a fence between the garage and the dog run. So I'm putting down some gravel here and level and compact it later. So I could build a small concrete wall here to give me some solid foundation for the fence. But first I need to run a conduit here for electricity to the future shed. Then I'll keep moving the soil along as I work my way towards the other end of the garden, leveling everything out as I go. Because once I work my way out of this corner, I really don't want to bring the excavator back here again. That's the plan, anyways. We'll see how that goes. It was a shock to absolutely no one that I ended up with even more rocks after sorting through all that soil. And this time I had both rocks and excess soil to get rid of. So, to the flatmobile. Get it? Because the trailer is flat. Yeah. Anyway, I tried 2 different tactics this time. First I used the excavator and the trailer, which is nice. You don't have to leave the seat of the excavator. But the excavator is slow like a snail. The tractor, on the other hand, is fast like a turtle. So I tried using the tractor instead. Of course, that means I have to unload everything by hand. But it actually turned out to be a bit faster. When I'm unloading with the excavator, I have to work pretty slow and precise. I have reinforced the trailer, but still, if I get a little too enthusiastic, the excavator will crush it like an empty soda can. Once all the rocks was finally out of the way, I had to redo parts of the garden, because at the very last minute I decided I wanted to bury another conduit. Every self-respecting playhouse needs electricity. I'm just running a power to a single outlet, in case I decide to set up some Christmas lights. Or, you know, whatever a playhouse might need electricity for. With the heavy digging finally out of the way, I switched to the grading bucket for one last pass over the garden. Honestly, this felt a bit like playing with Play-Doh. I could shape the terrain exactly how I wanted. Probably the most satisfying part of the whole project. By the end I still had a few piles of soil left over. So I filled my boogie trailer to the brim, probably just a couple of 100% over its rated capacity, and unloaded it all by hand somewhere else on the property. This was not exactly my favorite job. The soil was heavy, sticky, and it seemed determined to stay in the trailer forever. I didn't dare to use the excavator. I'd rather not turn my boogie trailer into an insurance claim. By the way, the people outside of Norway actually call these boogie trailers, because every time I say it, I picture something like this. Once the last load of soil was emptied, I spread about 2 tons of sand across the garden. The idea is to help break up the clay and improve the drainage. Unfortunately, 2 tons barely made a difference. I think I probably need another 10. Well, at least I tried. Then I used the tiller to mix the soil and the handful of sand I spread it around. And I also added a few bags of natural fertilizer into the mix. Or dried chicken poop if you prefer. It's actually a great fertilizer because it releases nutrients slowly over time. That makes it pretty forgiving. Some fertilizer will actually burn the grass if you get a little too enthusiastic. Then it was finally time to seed the lawn. And rake everything in. To do that, I simply dragged a small pallet behind me. All that's left to do is water it and wait, which means I can finally get back to concentrating on the garage, or maybe the dog run. Either way, there's still plenty of work to be done. So if you like to see how it turns out, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate a like. My name is Hammersland, and thank you for watching. See you soon.